Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is RemovableSanity, and today I'm reviewing Front Mission 3 Remake on the Series X, developed by Megapixel Studio SA and published by Forever Entertainment SA. So what is Front Mission 3 Remake? Front Mission 3 Remake is a tactical RPG set in a future where nations and corporations compete for dominance in a world shaped by powerful mechs called Wanzers. The premise is you follow two diverging storylines based on an early choice made by protagonist Kazuki Takamura. Both narratives focus on a global conspiracy involving secret weapons, corporate greed and nationalistic agendas. The game boasts two different engaging storylines, improved graphics and animations, reorchestrated music, Wanzers camo customization and a new quick combat mode. First up is accessibility. With regards to accessibility, the developers have provided limited options, such as slow motion, quick combat, auto skip travel, damage indicators. Audio and visual options though are basic to non-existent, so those with auditory and visual issues will struggle with this game. Gameplay is next. I have never played the Front Mission franchise, but after a little research into the series and being a mech fan, I decided to give it a go and see what all the fuss is about. Now, whilst I'm a true newbie in terms of the franchise, as usual I have done a bit of research on what the original fans say, and shall will take on board their comments to help provide the best rounded conclusion I can. The game starts with you taking control of Kazuki as he shows off a new Wanzer mech for the military. This is where the tutorial begins and does a great job of showcasing the basics of movement, combat and tactics. The game is based around grid-based battle stages in which you will need to complete a variety of tasks while surviving. There are 4 task variations. Elimination. Destroy all enemy Wanzers on the map. Nice and simple. Escape/reach goal. Move specific units, often with limited movement range, to a designated location, an elevator or map edge within a turn limit. Survival/hold position. Survive a certain number of turns or protect a specific ally/structure. Boss battles. Specialised, more challenging encounters against unique heavily armoured Wanzers. After demonstration goes well, his best friend Ryago arrives, and they soon become unwittingly embroiled in a military conflict after a routine delivery of the new mechs to the military base. Now, depending on the player's choice, Kazuki will either join up with his sister Elisa, or with an operative investigating a covert weapon project Midas, Emma Kalamsky. Though to be fair, you won't realise this is the point of divergence, as the game doesn't really give you a clue this is about to happen. This is more the norm in today's games, but back in 1999 when the original came out, this was a game changer. As mentioned, from here the stories diverge, and depending on your choice you will follow the chosen character's story arc to its conclusion, showcasing off different missions, maps and allies. This all sounds very similar to a standard RPG, however it's the combat directly that sets it apart. Each of your characters and enemies all have individual HP bars related to every part of their mech. Body, arms left and right, legs and pilot can take damage, with too much damage on certain parts giving big debuffs. For example, if your legs break you have reduced mobility, body destroyed you lose the Wanzer, and arms mean you lose that weapon. This all combines with other game mechanics to provide a deep tactical game. For example, using a shotgun provides good damage to multiple parts, and if you combine that with fire to a Wanzer that isn't fire resistant, you can do some awesome attacks. Now, it's not just a simple task of walking up and attacking. Wanzers have ranged and melee weapons, with each equipped weapon being able to be switched without penalty every turn. Ranged weapons can be used on far enemies but often result in a guaranteed counterattack. Melee weapons aren't often countered, but the player's Wanzer has to be located right beside the enemy to use them. Targeting and skills for each Wanzer is equally important. Targeting, as it says, is about damaging specific parts or to quicken or reduce the enemy's capability without destroying them. Why would you not want to destroy them? Well, if they surrender, you get their mech as a reward, perfect for using or selling on parts as you progress through the game. Skills are learned as you battle and can be combined to enable skill chains, allowing for multiple skills to activate during one turn. A good tip is to match your skills with the pilot's speciality, i.e. melee, short or long attacks. The skills themselves are also hugely varied, can be leveled up and need your experimentation to get the best out of them. One I learned early on was a chaff skill, which was ideal for my long distance missile character, who often was the first target of enemies specialising in long distance damage. I quickly combined this with a shield for protection and a bone buster melee attack for close quarters. As you progress through the stories, you'll soon build up a solid collection of allies, allowing you to pick to a full team of 4 players to take down any enemies in your path. Battles will not be easy, and depending on the enemies you face and choice of team, you can easily find yourself wiped out pretty quickly. Regardless, the enjoyment you face when coming up against new enemies, creating unique loadouts for each of your team members, and using the new mechanic of turning on its new quick combat mode provides a great time from start to finish. Next up is graphics. This is probably the most contentious of the game's aspects from its existing fan base perspective. The game clearly has an upgrade to the overall visuals, from remastered cutscenes to crisper, more defined mech models and landscapes. The problem that seems to be is that in doing so, the game has lost its grittiness and is almost too clean. Models and landscapes are super crisp, with clear smoothing effects being used widely. But by doing this, the grim, dark and gritty style of the original has been lost. Now, some are arguing that this has drastically lost the game's authentic style for a more AI-generated filter approach. This could have some validity, as the portrait images for all characters look washed out, and if someone has added a beauty anime filter on them. Another element that I believe needs tweaking is the game's inbuilt internet network that houses vast amounts of lore and information, something reminiscent of Hideo Kojima's Snatcher's own take on what the internet would be like. It's a cool idea that hides lots of secrets and hidden stuff, but there's also a lot of graphics here that still look low res and need updating. On a positive side, the new individual Wanzers camo customization is a true welcome addition. Ensuring that each of your allies are visually different makes the battle a much more enjoyable experience, and great for when things get a bit more hectic. Finally, it's sound. The music, however, is the one area where the developers have hit the nail on the head. The game offers you both the original soundtrack and a new remastered modern version that are both great at providing the player that engaging soundtrack as you plough your way through enemies. Now, the game does not support voice acting, with a focus on written and imagery to convey the story and atmosphere of the game. With regards to gameplay and battle sounds, I did find the sound design a bit lackluster with regards to melee attacks, as this lacked real punch during impact encounters with mechs. My recommendation here would be a good quality soundbar to really enjoy the quality of the original and remastered version of the soundtracks. And this leads me on to the rating of the game. Now, I rate games in order of avoid, on sale, great purchase and must own. My rating for Front Mission 3 Remake is a great purchase. Most agree this is the best one to jump into with regards to the Front Mission series, with its dual storyline, fun combat and engaging soundtrack. The game is currently priced on Xbox at £29.24, or approximately $35, and depending on your skill and patience would give you about 70 plus hours to fully complete both stories. There is hidden Wanzers, that means replayability is there should you wish to fully get a 100% completion rate. For me, the game was really fun, even with its questionable choice on some of the graphical elements. If you are new to the franchise or a fan of the original, I do think this is worth the price and something that should be in your collection. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I do hope you like this review, and if you do, please like, share and subscribe if you so wish. And if you would like to put some notes or even just a comment in the comment section, I do like reading them. Anyway, have a great time gaming, and I'll see you all again soon.